Welcome back to Human Story Room, where ancient wisdom, timeless stories, and modern reflections come together. Today we travel into the heart of a Panchatantra tale, a story about trust, temptation, and the quiet choices that shape our lives. This is the Brahmin and the Cobra. There was once a humble Brahmin named Haridata. His days were spent tilling a small, stubborn piece of land that rarely yielded enough to meet his needs. Day after day he worked, wondering why his efforts bore so little. One scorching afternoon, he rested beneath a large tree on his land, and that's when he noticed something unusual. Beside him, from an old anthill, rose a magnificent cobra, its hood swaying gently in the heat. Instead of fear, Haridata felt a strange clarity. He thought perhaps this cobra was the guardian spirit of the land, a presence he had unknowingly ignored. Maybe the land's barrenness wasn't just soil, but a reflection of his lack of reverence. With this thought, he rushed back to his village, returned with a bowl of milk, and placed it respectfully before the anthill. He bowed, acknowledging the sacredness he believed he had overlooked. The next morning, just before sunrise, he returned, and there, inside the bowl, lay a shining gold coin. A moment like this can change a person's rhythm. Haridata began to arrive every dawn, milk in hand, gratitude in heart, receiving a single gold coin, enough to sustain him, yet humble enough to keep him grounded. Each day felt like a quiet exchange between devotion and reward. But life rarely moves in straight lines. One day the Brahmin had to travel to another village and sent his son to offer the milk. The son found the gold coin just as his father had. But instead of seeing a blessing, he saw an opportunity. He thought, if one coin appears every day, there must be an entire treasure hidden within the anthill. Why wait a lifetime for what I could take in a moment? Greed often whispers like a shortcut, quick, easy, and terribly convincing. The boy lifted a heavy stick and struck at the cobra. But the cobra was swift. In a moment of fear and self-defense, it bit the young man, and by the time help could arrive, the boy was gone. When Haridata returned and learned what had happened, grief washed over him. But beneath the grief was a deeper recognition, a recognition of the force that had driven his son. Greed, a desire too strong to listen to wisdom, patience, or consequence. Still, Haridata approached the anthill once more. He offered milk again, not out of expectation, but out of acceptance. From inside the darkness of its home, the cobra spoke. You have returned for gold, forgetting the grief of your son. That is the power of greed. Your son struck me, and I retaliated. Neither of us can forget what has happened. Our bond ends today. Stories like this may seem simple on the surface, but beneath the plot lie truths we encounter every day. How often do we trade patience for impatience because we want results now? How often do we forget what matters because we are chasing something that dazzles for a moment but disappears just as quickly? How often do we overlook what we already have, believing that more will finally make us feel complete? Greed doesn't always roar. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in comparisons, in envy, in the belief that happiness lies somewhere outside the life we already have. The Brahmin's son reminds us that shortcuts can cost more than they give, and the Brahmin himself teaches us that awareness, gratitude, and humility make life richer than any treasure. As we continue our own journeys, this story asks us to pause and reflect. What am I chasing? Why am I chasing it? And what might I be losing along the way? Because at the heart of the Panchatantra's wisdom is a simple truth. When desire overtakes clarity, we lose our way. But when mindfulness guides us, even small blessings can feel abundant. Thank you for joining me in the Human Story Room today. If this story touched something within you, leave a comment sharing your reflection, subscribe for more soulful storytelling, and share this video with someone who might need this reminder. Until next time, keep your heart open, your mind steady, and your steps mindful.